Okay, 2.5. This should be the video you're watching on Wednesday while I check homework with the 1.5 kids. Let's see here. Okay. And anyway, so we ended up talking about food in third period too, hilariously enough. And so I guess I got my Mr. Popish talks about hoodies with us for an entire class for at least the next month or so. And now it's back to Latin. All right, so hopefully these participles aren't totally crazy for you guys. Should probably just check the homework in this video too. Okay, anyway, but this is what we would have gone over on Tuesday if we hadn't talked about food. So remember, we're mostly like worried about present active and perfect passive. The future active and passive ones won't be as common. So let's get into this. We looked at this one on the earlier video. No one neglecting faith will ever lack fear. Neglecting spelled wrong. But let's look at this one. These are from your lectiones, so I'm not giving you your lectiones until next week. But I'm picking the lectiones that will not be assigned for homework. So just kind of follow along and write down any words that you don't already know. Aliquis, aliquid means someone or something. It's a new vocabulary word this chapter. So let's see here. Yeah, and then viva vivere, I think y'all know that means to live, but I'm writing the dictionary entry in the speech bubble because I want you to see that it is what conjugation? Viva vivere, it's a short E. It is third, right? So that E should indicate to you that we're looking at a what kind of tense? Probably future. So if we just kind of skip everything in between, it looks like something like someone will live, and will live bene, will live well. Hopefully you know bene by now. But diem capiens here is what we're mostly interested for the purposes of this chapter, because so that's everything but diem capiens. Hopefully capiens to you looks like a participle, and we have a little guide down there. So it should look to you like it is present active, right? That ns is a nominative singular form of the present active. So it's like going with aliquis, and it's kind of telling us about this someone that we're introduced to as the subject. So someone doing what? What does capio capere actually mean? It means like capturing or taking, right? And that's how we're going to translate it because it's present active. It's going to be verbing. So someone capturing or taking or seizing might be good. The what? The day, right? So we just have like a 2-word participial phrase there, where beware of the fact that present active does take its own direct object a lot of the time. So that's kind of weird. That's like more complicated, honestly, than just the translation and the identification of the present active participle that we have here. So yeah, someone capturing the day will live well. And this is kind of a reference to that saying you probably heard, that we probably mentioned before, carpe diem, which that's coming from a separate verb, carpo carpora, a verb we don't have yet, but that means like kind of, it's usually translated as seize, but pluck or harvest is maybe more accurate. So even though people say carpe diem means seize the day, it's a little more like pluck the day. It's more gentle than seizing the day. And yeah, it's like our version of that right now, since we don't have carpo carpora, would be capio. So they're kind of referencing that here. Like someone seizing the day will live well. All right, that one shouldn't be too bad, though I know how these videos are. You don't really get the chance to try to translate it yourself. And that's where the homework comes in. Sola dulcia in mundo petentes, comma, fide atque probitate ceruimus. I can tell we have a compound object there with fide atque probitate, some kind of ablatives, maybe ablatives of separation, right? You need to know that careo means to lack. So ceruimus there will be the what tense, everyone? The perfect tense, because that you basically. So it's like we lacked faith and also honesty. But what's the first part? That's the more complicated part. So solo dulcia, it's like dulcia is weird. We've seen it before. It is just an adjective, dulcus, but we've seen it before like function as a noun. It means sweet, but we've seen it function as like a noun. So we have to like sometimes add something to like sweet things or sweetness. So something like sweetness alone in mundo means like in the world, right? I think that was a vocabulary from last chapter. And so, and what is petentes? Petentes. That is this new verb. We've already seen it in one of its forms. Peto petra means to seek. And what kind of participle is that? Patentes. It is present active, right? So seeking sweetness alone or only, like only seeking sweetness or sweet things in the world uh, will lead to us lacking, or just, like we lacked faith and even honesty, uprightness. This is them like trying to like do something that looks like an ablative absolute, but we don't have an ablative absolute until chapter 25. So, but that's what it'll kind of feel like. It's like with us only seeking sweet things in the world, we lacked faith and uprightness. Like meaning like only going for like what's enjoyable and pleasurable means that we are deprived in other regards. So that is another present active one. So hopefully y'all are getting pretty comfortable looking at present active participles and dealing with those. Quid's a new vocab word that means like whatever. So whatever is in isto equo, in that horse of yours, and no matter what's in there, Timeo, from Timeo Timeri, I fear something about Greeks. I fear Greeks. And the Dona Garentes, Gero, that can be like to carry, right? And it looks like it's agreeing with Greeks. So it's like another present active participle. Hopefully y'all can see that. Agreeing with Gryka. So whatever's in that horse, the Trojan horse, right? I fear Greeks doing what? Greeks bearing or carrying gifts. Whatever that is in there, I fear it. I don't like the idea of Greeks carrying gifts. So yeah, the translation of it's not too hard. Not been able to find on Quizlet a deck of just fourth principal parts of verbs, which I was hoping to. So maybe I'll have to make one. But okay, the Republic, he says, or the Brave Orator says, semper est conservanda. This one's not too important to worry about this one too much, but the conservanda we would identify as being future passive, a future passive participle. So the Republic, says the Brave Orator, must always be conserved. And we'll talk about that more when we get this thing called the passive periphrastic, but this is a sneak peek. When a future passive participle gets a form of sum esse along with it, which is est here, we translate as like must be verbed. So must be conserved, must be protected is that one. All right, I will probably end up just recording y'all's homework check video today as well. So y'all can check that on Wednesday. Join us for Jeopardy on Thursday, and then take your vocabulary quiz on Friday. Keep in mind that is coming up. So I don't know if I've mentioned that enough to you guys this week, but those words you will be quizzed on Friday. All right. Good luck with finishing the homework if you haven't already. But I assume at this point you will be able to watch the homework video. It should be ready to. It'll probably be called like 1020 part 2. This is 1020 part 1. All right. Thanks, guys. Let me know if you have any questions during essay, et cetera, et cetera. Goodbye.